Hey guys, this is Richard at Big Number One Motorsports, and today I'm going to be talking about the 2020 Ducati Supersport. Now this bike is kind of in a class of its own. Ducati describes it as a sport road bike, and what they mean by that is that it kind of falls in between a sport tour and a full-on sport bike, which as you kind of look at it, it does look extremely sporty, but it's got some hidden comfort features to it too that really make it more versatile and more suitable to an everyday use. I'm going to cover those in this as well. Now, starting on the front here, you see a lot of different features all the way around the bike that really show you what they mean by like a road sport, a sport road bike. And you see a lot of touring features, comfort features as well. For one, adjustable windshield. Super easy, quick, block your wind, make it more of an everyday bike, year-round, and kind of an all-in-one bike, like the only bike kind of classification. They're trying to make it to where this is the only bike you need. You don't need a sport bike and a touring bike. You can customize this one to however you want it to be. Something else that's really cool on the front here is these daytime running lights. They kind of make a V here. They kind of make it look angry at night actually from the front, and it looks awesome. And that's a huge safety feature. You know, what that does for you is even during the daytime, it's that super opaque light that makes you noticeable to other drivers, other riders out on the road, so that not just at nighttime, but during the daytime, you're easier to pick out and you're a lot safer. Moving around here as well, I want to talk about the engine. Now this is the Testrastrata 11-degree engine, and it's a 937cc. You've got about 113 horsepower in sport mode, full power mode, and 69 pound-feet of torque. So when Ducati made this bike, they really decided, hey, we have the Panigale, and that's an awesome bike, but you can't really legally make the most use of it on the road, right? It really lives for the track, especially all the V4s that they're putting out now. So they really wanted something that looks sporty, looks awesome. It's got that Ducati cool factor, so to speak, to it, but is also going to be easier to manage on the road, something that's going to be really something not necessarily toned down, but really something that you could take to the track or use on the road and be comfortable even with touring. So if you also look at the engine here, you'll see the classic Ducati styling with the trellis frame. Now the purpose of the frame on this bike really is to bolt right onto the engine and make the engine a stressed member of the frame. And what that does is it allows you not to have more frame pieces, more extraneous weight. So they keep the bike more lightweight, more sporty, but also, you know, you've got your touring capabilities as well, and it makes it more comfortable as well if you have to come to stop in traffic, you know, so it's not just meant for the track, it's meant for everyday road use. Now also, you do see the fairing on the bike. It's not quite a naked bike. It is really the goal was to make it look like a sport bike, make it more comfortable as well. And what I mean by that is that you've got your pegs right here, so your feet are actually underneath you instead of all the way behind you like a full sport bike. That's a lot more comfortable. You don't have to be bent all the way over. You can actually get behind this windscreen, take advantage of it, and you can tuck in if you want to, bend over the tank and get sporty with it, take it to the track or hit the curves, carve some canyons. And it has the capability to do both, but you're going to be more comfortable for longer rides. I wouldn't want to be bent over, you know, for multiple hours on a ride, especially, you know, multiple days a week, the way that Ducati really aimed this bike to be, kind of, you know, sporty, also able to tour, also able to just commute on it, just short rides. Now, moving around to the back here, I want to talk about some of the technology that Ducati is using on this bike. The reason I'm doing it on the back is, you know, traction control. This is where that takes place. You only have one drive wheel on a motorcycle, of course. So Ducati has a lot of technology they build into these bikes, from ABS to traction control to even things now like quick shifters on this one, which this one is set up for a quick shifter. It does not come with it, but it's just plug and play. It's super simple. So there's 8 levels of the traction control on this bike, and you actually turn it all the way off, which is really cool. You want to take it to the track, and you know, of course, there's different ride modes that I'll get into as well in just a minute that automatically control those levels as well. You also have LEDs on the back here in the turn signals and the brake light, and you can swap out the tail lights for LEDs super easily as well. Moving on to the side, like I said, you can plug and play a Ducati quick shift up and down right here. Super, I'm not going to say simple to install because not everybody can do it, but it doesn't take long and there's plenty of tutorials online. Ducati also has a tour pack that you can buy, or a tour kit really, that you can buy for this bike. It's got heated grips, it's got bags on the back that aren't huge, so you maintain the sporty styling of the bike, but you can really turn this bike into more of a touring bike if you want to, and it's super easy to go back and forth. The heated grips are awesome for year-round riding, for commuting during the winter months, the colder months, sometimes even during the spring, and there's multiple levels of the heated grips as well. There's low, medium, high, and so you can really use them year-round. If you're riding at night even, sometimes it gets a little chilly, and it's just all kind of goes into the main theme of this bike, which is versatility and that one bike feel, the only bike you need. Now, I'm also going to hop on here so I can show you that that seat position. So, you can tell that I'm bent over a little bit. It's still an aggressive styling. It's not by any means a naked bike, standard bike, but you can still tuck in as well, and you're just a lot more comfortable in this position. You're not cramped, you've got more space to stretch out, and it's also not too high as well. So it's more accessible to other riders. You got a seat height of 31.9 inches on here, and there's also other seats that you can get to raise or lower that if that's not quite your style. As well, on here, kind of more towards the sport side, you've got clip-on bars. Now, I'm a fan of clip-on bars, I'm a fan of off-road bars, but this is super comfortable as well. This is probably the most comfortable clip-on style I've ridden before, because you're not bent over, tucked in, you're not having a lot of weight on your wrists, so it's not going to fatigue you as much. That's what those bars are going to do for you, along with the seating position. Now, I talked about ride modes a little bit. You've got sport, urban, and tour modes. Sport mode is going to be the fastest throttle response, just direct throttle response from the throttle. It's going to be full power, and you're going to have the least amount of intervention from your traction control and your ABS. ABS also has 3 levels, while traction control has 8. You can turn it all the way off as well. And you've also got your urban mode. That's going to be about 75 of the available horsepower is around where you're going to be on the urban mode. So it's going to be also the gentlest throttle response as well. It's not by any means sluggish, but especially if you're going to be on slick surfaces, anything like that, or oily surfaces, say right after it rains in the city, or if you're just somewhere where you don't need the full power, where you can just kind of relax and give it a little more throttle without fear of running a red light downtown, you've only got a block, or without spinning that back wheel if you prefer to ride with your traction control all the way off. Which brings me to another point. You can customize all 3 of those modes, sport, urban, and tour, to be whatever you want them to be. Like, say you want your sport mode to be trek only. You can turn your traction control all the way off. That's how you ride on the track. ABS all the way off, or almost all the way off, and you can save it that way. That could just be your trek mode. And then you've also, of course, got your tour mode. Now, tour mode is also full power, just like sport is. And it's also going to be a slightly softer throttle response than sport mode. Sport mode is the only one that's really instant throttle response, direct to the grip and everything like that, no intervention. And you're going to be using that really on your long straightaways, on your long rides. Say you're traveling, you got your tour pack on, and you're ready to hit the road, and you're not wanting to be carving canyons all day, you're going to be using that more. Well guys, this has been Richard at Big Number One. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do have any questions, you can come on down and see me, or just give me a call, and I'll be happy to help.